Happy Friday, Repurposers. And no, I will not talk about the Trump verdict. Let's stick with what I am an expert on, which is changing careers and doing work you love. So today I want to tell you about how I have seen a certain path unfold for more than one client over the years. And that is, I want to talk to you what happens when somebody comes to me feeling, lost, maybe even a little bit down because they're not sure what they want to do with their career, and then choose to start and grow their own business. All right, are you ready? Should we dive in? Okay. So, although everybody takes a different route to it, here are the things that I really see happen. Okay. Somebody comes to me and, for whatever reason, they are not feeling good about where they're at. Professionally, I'm talking about professionally, right? So, more than I would expect, actually. They had a bad experience in their workplace. Sometimes the career changed on them. Sometimes they never liked what they were doing. Sometimes they were laid off. And the thought of going back to the same type of work is either not very practical or something that they don't want. They've realized it's not appealing anymore. Sometimes they're getting back to working after years of caregiving. Sometimes, they realize they've been conforming to their parents or society's expectations all their lives when it comes to work, and they feel that it's time to actually discover what they truly want. Right? So there's many different reasons why people end up talking to me, but it usually at that point there's some fear, there's some insecurity, there's some loss of confidence, there's doubt, right? But there's also hope and desire, and sometimes confusion and overwhelm and all sorts of feelings, right? That we all have when we feel we don't know what to do next. It's very difficult to be in this uncertain state, or as I call it, the in-between time, right? Um, and one thing that I don't even realize until later, but just I know now, is their light is a little bit dim. It's like I don't even realize it until it starts coming back on, and they show up on a call, and it's like, wow, what happened to you? Right? The light is back on, right? The light that we all have inside and sometimes gets obscured by clouds. So that's really the beginning, and I've seen it over and over again. This is a fairly universal beginning. But then as we start on the path of uncovering what comes in the way of that knowing, and we really delve into transformative conversations on how we experience what we experience, and explore ideas of what they might want to do, and they're out in the world and take action and do some more exploring. And so a combination of inner work, deep inner work, and sometimes challenging out of your comfort zone action, powerful action. Some of my clients then decide that they want to work for themselves. Okay, and there are many reasons for this. So this might be also interesting to you to really think about some of the reasons that are very common are a desire for flexibility and work-life balance. So freedom, sometimes is a desire to be more with the people they love, or be more in life, do things, that at their own pace. Sometimes it's the desire to lead, to be fully self-expressed, to do a variety of different things that they would get to do as a business owner. And these experiences, they don't feel they are available to them at work. Now I'm gonna put a star, an asterisk here, that I'm telling you what I see from people that want to work for themselves. I'm not saying that this is quote unquote the truth, and that if you're looking for a job, you cannot get work-life balance or great work at a company. Okay, so I'm not saying that. I'm just describing a specific type of journey that some of us will take. Okay, so another video on the on if you're looking for employment. So just closing that parenthesis. Something else that they might like about working for themselves is they're solopreneurs. Some of us really enjoy working by ourselves, right? We don't want colleagues or direct reports or a boss, and so you might really like to work for yourself. There's many other reasons, but these are the ones that I see are fairly common and I see recurring. And so what happens is that during that exploring, sometimes people really realize they had some misconceptions about working for themselves. One misconception is that it will be so hard that they cannot do it. And in fact, they find that they get so much energy and they enjoy so much that it's still hard. It still requires, a lot of work, but to them it doesn't feel as hard as doing something different as an employee. Sometimes the misconception is that you just think about what you want to do, like those courses on how to start a business. That's basically you think an idea and then you work on your branding and then you put it on Facebook and then people will hire you, right? Like it doesn't quite work that way, right? And so they have to really up their game in their ability to connect with what's needed, right? While also staying connected to what they're called to bring forth in the world. And there's many other things, right? But again, these are the ones that come top of my head. And so, to repeat a little bit and bring the to sum up the path a little bit as I explained it so far, there's a dimming of the light and there's confusion and some insecurity and fear when we don't know what we want to do. Then we have to take some action, both looking inside and looking outside and interacting outside of our comfort zone and exploring something where there might be some uncomfortable feelings. But during that process, we find what we want, right? We have an idea we cannot pursue or explore more in details. And the light during this process, at some point, the light comes back, right? In other words, we start feeling more ourselves. We're now lost in all this insecurity and doubt. It comes and goes, it comes and goes, but we find our grounding more and more. We really discover our true self. Where is that? How can I be in that? How can I feel that? And then for those who decide and really feel called to have their own business, then the next part is really working with understanding what's needed. And this is where the clients stay with me and we work over years, because sometimes I work with clients for years, sometimes for just a few weeks, but sometimes for years. Then there are all these things that happen when you get in business for yourself that require you to really grow in your ability to express your needs, grow in your ability of communicating with others, grow in your ability to set boundaries, negotiate pricing, sell, engage with marketing. So many things come up that I really, if you have never worked for yourself, you have no idea until you're in it. And then you realize, wow, this is a totally different game, right? Okay, there's no way to learn how to play unless you play, right? So over time, not only the business grows, but they grow, right? And then time unfolds, the business picks up, and then usually two things happen. I'm very lucky. A lot of my clients, end up with a business they like, and then we keep working together and they keep growing the business and their ability to lead, right? But once in a while, somebody's like, well, I liked it, but I really miss, having a team, having a lot of resources. I see my income potential is not the same doing my business than being in the workforce. That's okay. When they look to get back into a company, they're a different person. Once you work for yourself and you have that experience, your entire experience of what it's like to be in business changes because now you understand something from a much wider perspective. So, for example, for me, before I worked for myself, I tended to have a much more, let's say, me focused, narrow view of a job. I tended to think just about how much am I gonna get paid, or what's in it for me, or I had much more of that view, and I sort of imagined that higher ups had all the answers, and I didn't think too much about what they needed, right? What they might be struggling with. But after I got my business, I had a business. This is many years ago, okay? And I went and got an office job when I changed careers the first time. The reason why I was able to grow in my career so fast is because I understood my bosses didn't have all the answers. I understood that if I wanted to get paid more, I had to deliver more value. I understood that it wasn't personal. A lot of things were not personal. Like there were so many things that I understood because I had had the pressure myself of having to run a business. Even though I hadn't had employees, I still understood that. I understood what it was like. So if you're thinking about changing careers, and one of the things you are exploring, you don't have to have your mind set up on this, but one of the things you are exploring is working for yourself. I want to invite you to look around, talk to some people who already work for themselves. Think, wonder what you have to offer and what people might be looking for. And don't discard the possibility that you could, in fact, work for yourself right off the gate. Like, entertain it as a possibility because I have seen it happen. It's not going to be necessarily fast. It's not gonna be easy. Do not buy into any of those social media ads that promise you the 200,000, dollar a year sort of career thing, business idea that you do from the beach 2 hours a day. Like ignore all that. None of that is true, and it doesn't work that way. Okay, but if you do feel that maybe there's something for you, then I want to invite you to explore it because it is possible and I've seen it happen. And if remember, you can manage your risk. So even if you give it a try and it's not for you, you will learn so many things that even as an employee, you will be a completely different person and you will have so much more to offer. So this is my sort of take on working for yourself and what I've seen. I love small businesses. I love working with people who are solopreneurs or have a small business or a small, nonprofit. I love working with that. And so today I want to give you a little bit of hope and a little bit of courage, and being open to that. So that is not for everybody. So I can say a lot of great things about also working for a company and working with people who choose to change careers and get a job. And those are also wonderful stories. Okay, so I'll keep that for another time, and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.